This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, Islamic prayer as intimidation. Our guest this evening, back by popular demand, Nonie Darwish, the author of The Devil We Don't Know. Nonie Darwish, welcome to the program.
My pleasure, Jamie. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Nonie, let us begin. I want to play a little clip of a very frightening, eerie, weird, scary video. But before we do, let's begin this topic. Nonie, we know about Christian prayer, but you're an expert on this. Islamic prayer is not the same thing as Christian prayer. Am I correct?
Yes, there in many ways, in every way. Islamic prayer, let's start with this. It's an exhibitionist prayer. It's not, Christians when they pray, they want to be private. They want to have a personal relationship with God. They choose maybe their bedroom or in front of their bed before they go to sleep, away from people's eyes. Islam is exactly the opposite. Islam wants to impress on other people when they pray, which is very, very different from the concept of Christian prayers. And this kind of, and frankly, Islamic prayer is impressive, but they want to impress it on non-Muslims. So how do? They do it in public. They stand in a line, shoulder to shoulder. It's a show of strength. It's a show of power, and it's intimidating. It's another way of striking fear into the hearts of unbelievers. Jihad is not just by terror. That's one aspect of jihad. Another aspect of jihad is striking fear and one of the way to intimidate and strike fear in the hearts of non-Muslims is to actually do the prayers in public. That's why they block the streets. If you look at France, even in New York, in Cairo, if you go wherever you go, they love to pray and block the streets. They want to block you.
Thank you, Nonie. Thank you. And think two themes right off the top of my head in here. Islamic supremacism, obviously manifesting itself through the prayer because the goal ultimately is to convert everybody by force if necessary. And Allahu Akbar. The West and the Western media, our higher literary culture, tries to say that it means God is great, but it doesn't. It means God is greater in the sense of my God is
comparison.
Better. Pardon?
It's a comparison way.
Yes, and my God
is higher than your God.
And the person saying it that's trying to enter the cockpit of the airplane, it's not a good thing. And this is Daniel Greenfield saying in a very profound article that he wrote, The Meaning of Allahu Akbar. Nonie, let's go to this very eerie video clip. I think it's an Islamic imam or some kind of sheikh, and he's making quite a scene on an airplane. Let's play it. Okay, this is quite eerie stuff. Nonie, why would this guy do this knowing the background of 9/11, etc., etc.? What's the point of this?
It's on purpose. It's done on purpose. And this is done actually daily and hourly in the Middle East. Do you know that in every neighborhood in Cairo, every block, half a block, there's a mosque? So when I visited my mother in Egypt with my children, who were at that time teenagers, they woke up very scared in the morning. It was a little bit before 6 a.m., sunrise in the summer. And they were saying, what's wrong? Suddenly, and my mother lives in a good neighborhood, one of the best neighborhoods in Cairo. And they woke up asking me, what's wrong? What's going on? Microphones from every corner surrounding her house, not only her house, every house in Cairo is with microphones saying, Allahu Akbar, wake up, do your prayers.
Okay, Nonie, 1 second. Thank you. Now, this video clip that we just showed, why, this guy has no good intentions. There can't be any good intentions here, because why are you getting up and screaming this? You already know the terror that you're striking into unbelievers by doing this. We know the past of 9/11. What is it? It's just an intimidation, right?
Well, Islam itself is intimidating. It's the whole culture of Islam is to exhibit intimidation. It actually doesn't teach intimidation as something rude. It teaches us as something holy. I have to enforce my holiness on others. So this imam or whatever, he's on an airplane, even the hours and the timing on an airplane, you don't know when your airplane, what time zone you're in. So he doesn't even want to wait till he lands to have some courtesy. No, he wants to tell people, I'm a Muslim, I will annoy you, I will scare you, because you have to be, you have to feel subdued by me. There is a verse in the Quran that says clearly, and I want you to feel yourself subdued. That to be subdued by Muslim is actually a virtue.
Right, Nonie, and we also know the verse and the verses about striking terror into the hearts of unbelievers, etc. Now, here's an added aspect to this. It gets more and more dysfunctional, pathological, and toxic. He's screaming this in the context of 9/11, in the context of jihad and Islamic terror. This is terrifying for everybody on that airplane. However, if a complaint is made and he gets reprimanded and thrown off the plane, then the people complaining are going to get in trouble for Islamophobia, quote-unquote racism, quote-unquote discrimination. The MSA, CARE, ISNA, all these Muslim Brotherhood front groups have succeeded in traumatizing the American public to such a degree now that when they're scaring and intimidating us, we have to be ashamed of being afraid and can't say anything.
Actually, that specific flight that you showed the clip of is not an American airliner. It was heading to the Philippines, and it was not an American airline. It could be the Philippine airline. However, if you know, the Philippines has a minority Muslim population, and they're very intimidating, and they are practically scaring the hell out of the majority Filipino population who are Catholics. So they are scared of them. Everybody is trying to shut them up, and they know it.
Right, but Nonie, what I mean is exactly, but but we've already had the case of the flying imams years back. I'm saying that wherever this particularly happened, it's still very applicable and relevant to our society, because if this happens on one of our flights, in terms of how the Muslim Brotherhood now controls our national discourse, the infidels, the kuffars, are so intimidated and traumatized that we can't say anything, and we're the ones that are going to get in trouble if we articulate our fear.
Absolutely, you got it, Jamie. This is how Islam regards prayers. It's not like Christian prayers. Islamic prayers is mandatory. It's by force. In fact, in Saudi Arabia, there is the morality police who enforces prayers during prayer time. And if they find a shop owner who does not close his shop while it's prayer time, it has to be during, they could arrest him. So if you don't go to the mosque to pray, in some Muslim countries, you could be arrested. So prayers is not something holy between you and God. It's a mandatory government obligation.
Yeah.
So that imam knows that. And he is yelling Allahu Akbar inside an airplane. Just, it's a warning to people. This is mandatory, people. I will scare the hell out of you because this is mandatory.
Well, Nonie, and you know this better than many others in the West because you've actually lived under this tyranny. You've been in this Sharia gulag. Let me ask you a personal question, because I think even with your intuition and even with all your senses, you can feel the tyrannical oppression of this ideology. Give us a personal story, one or two, briefly, if you can, where other people might not be feeling this intimidation, but there's a certain way that Islamists and devout Muslims, pious Muslims who are practicing intimidation, how they even inflict it on you and you can sense it. Have you experienced?
Actually, it scares me more than the average American. The average American might look at it and laugh as something silly. They don't know the depth of the.
Well, give us an example. For instance, since you've been in the West, has a comment been made to you? Have you been? Yeah. Give us an example.
I'll tell you a story. When I came first to America, when you're a newcomer, you only have Egyptian friends around you who are also new immigrants. And none of us were wearing Islamic clothes. I've never worn Islamic clothes. And suddenly, they go to the mosques here in America, and suddenly one of the women that I befriended, who never wore a head cover, she comes and gives me a gift of a head cover, and she tells me, let's go pray. She had a big party in her house with lots of Muslims, and I said, no, that's something I do privately. So you just reminded me, thank you for asking me this question, because that intimidation was inside a party for me, and the host actually got up, left me, and gathered a bunch of women who looked at me like I was this devil or this unholy woman who doesn't even want to cover her head.
Nonie, you also shared with me, to the best of my memory, I just want to, get this out to the viewers too, that, there's always an intimidation in this ideology in all tyrannical environments, regimes that are founded on these terroristic ideologies, constantly an intrusion into our private sphere. You told me one time, even in Egypt, or several times, or however times it happened, but if you would get into a cab with a male, the taxi driver has the right and will interrogate you as to your relationship with this person.
Yeah, one time there was an American. I used to go to the American University in Cairo, and one of the graduate students wanted to go somewhere for sightseeing. So I took a cab and showed him the sightseeing, wanted to show him the sightseeing. And in the cab, because he was an American, the cab driver was asking me in Arabic, who is he? Is he your fiance? The cab driver, who had nothing to do with me when I was 20 years old and 19, he acted like he was my guardian. I felt so little, so like I was nothing. I was this woman who has to be protected by a cab driver.
And absolutely, this is disgusting, and I'm referring obviously to the behavior and intrusion by the taxi driver. And what's also disgusting is the silence of the left and of these feminists, quote unquote, in the West, who are for women's rights, and they're not standing up for the most basic civil liberties and privacy of women under Islamic gender apartheid.
They don't even care about the rape of European girls, underage European girls, by Muslims, and lo and behold, they go ballistic in America against a Republican who has a girlfriend. or who, it's just upside down.
And to our viewers, of course, all of these themes are connected, because as we're discussing Islamic prayer as intimidation, within the prayer, what's really happening is the manifestation of Islamic supremacism. And this is all the details. But Nonie, we're out of time. So under a minute, please conclude with what you want to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Islamic prayer is mandatory. It's enforced by the law. It's also, it tells you what to tell God and what not to say. So it's nothing private, nothing personal. It's all dictated to you, and everybody's intimidated. Everybody, it's for show. It's to impress other people, and that's what that guy was doing. Islamic prayer is for show.
And Nonie, and as you say that, as Christians, it's just so staggering and anathema to hear this, because it's the exact flip side of Jesus Christ and the message of washing your face while you're fasting and not letting other people know. And also that personal relationship that we have with Christ. And there's no personal relationship with Allah. Am I correct for Muslims?
Not at all. And actually, you want everything about Islam is impressing others. Everything about Islam is about making people like you and approve of you, and to get them away off your back.
Nonie Darwish, always an honor and a privilege to have you share your wisdom with us.
My pleasure, Jamie.
And thank you for watching the Glazov Gang. If you like this show and appreciate what we talk about, please support us at jamieglazov.com, because we are a fan-generated show, and you should be telling everybody to be subscribed to the YouTube channel of the Glazov Gang, even if you're not. We'll see you on the next edition of the Glazov Gang. Good night.
This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.